Maniacal smile. I have to remember to smile as the camera's coming on. Okay, I'm on a bumpy part of the road, and I also tried to fix my camera holder thing, my phone holder thing by myself. So if it falls, that's why. This is Travel Chat. Actually, this is Thursday? Wow, Thursday already. Thursday edition of Travel Chat. This is the show where I use my super extra long commute to talk through my personal development and the epiphanies I've had over the previous 24 hours. I just talk it out. Sometimes I listen to a book, which sparks me to thinking something. And a couple months ago, I just started turning on the camera for that. So I'm just documenting my journey. And if you are curious as to what it looks like to change your life, then you're welcome to watch. If it annoys you or you don't like my opinions or my experiences, then you don't have to watch. So far the feedback has been really good. People are, they get it, you know. You guys who are watching it, you get it. Some things are a little bit complicated because I've been going at this now for a year. It's August. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful month. It's August now, and I say it's a beautiful month because it was August when I got the Ultimate Life Binder in 2018, and that just kicked off everything because that I got the Ultimate Life Binder. I messaged Michelle Rohr, who created it, and she gave me the best piece of advice I've ever gotten probably in my whole life, and she said everything begins with your personal development. Once you work on yourself and make yourself better, things will start to fall into place. And those weren't her exact words, but that's my interpretation of it now. I will link the Ultimate Life Binder. I will link Michelle Rohr's website, Secret Owl Society, and the SOS Club, and the Passive Income with Printables course in case you're interested in making your own planner or printables or something like that for sale on Etsy. She's really, really an excellent resource. So I'll link all that down in the description box. And today we're talking about how to be happy for the rest of your life. And this is I don't know, it's like a background subject. It's something that we're always trying to figure out, how to live happily ever after. How do you do that? And I got to the point in my life where I just thought it wasn't possible. I was like, well, that was a myth, a fable, that was a children's story. That's not anything that's possible in real life. And the funny thing is, now I've learned that it is possible. And it's not even that difficult. Hi, Diane and Loki. It's not even that difficult to live happily ever after. But there's a trick to it. And I had this breakthrough last Tuesday, and it's kind of like been in the background of my mind, which is where it should be. So once you hear this, just keep this in the background of your mind and just use it whenever you need it. So last Tuesday, I was on a coaching call. Hi, Mona. Thanks for tuning in again 2 days in a row. Woo! Yeah, good morning. So I joined this group called The Collective, the Power Manifesting Collective. And it's led by a guy named Nick Bro. And he is, he's a coach. He's a transformational mindset coach. And he's really good. I like people who are approachable and calm, and they're knowledgeable, but they're not stressing you out with everything they know. Like they can pull out their knowledge as you ask for it. It's not information overload, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I found him to be like that, and I found him at a time when I was really in a place where I needed a coach, and it was 3:00 in the morning, and boom, I wake up, I look at my phone, and there's this message. It was just the weirdest thing. So I was very happy to find him. Anyway, I joined the collective, and it's a really high level law of attraction group where we just do a lot of mindset coaching, and so on the call, somebody asked about being happy for the rest of your life. So this is Nick Bro's answer to how to be happy for the rest of your life. And then I will tell you what my take on it has been for the past week, since I learned it last Tuesday and I've been working on it until today. So it's like 8 days. 10 days ago. So he said, do you know what the key to being happy for your entire life is? Do you know what the key to being happy for a year is? For 20 years. He says, this is how you become happy for 20 years. You're happy for a year. And how do you become happy for a year? You're happy for a month. And how do you become happy for a month? You're happy for a week. And how are you happy for a week? You're happy for a day. How are you happy for a day? You're happy for an hour. How are you happy for an hour? You're happy for a minute. And how are you happy for a minute? You're happy for a moment. And then another moment. And then another moment. And then another moment. And to me, that was like what I needed to hear. That was exactly what I needed to hear. Hey, Ashley, 2 days in a row. So if you're happy in this moment and you carry that into the next moment and the next and the next, it's only natural that this, you'll look back and 5 years down the road, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I just had the happiest 5 years of my entire life. This also gave me permission not to worry about tomorrow or next year. Because what I tend to do is, say I have a breakthrough today. I do this all the time, y'all, about everything. I have a breakthrough today and I start thinking about how that breakthrough is going to affect 10 years or 5 years or next year. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to do this. I got to do this. And it's ridiculous because things are going to change. I mean, things in my life are changing from one day to the next. So something's going to change between now and next week. So why am I worried about the breakthrough? Like if I discovered this brand of water or something like that, and I find it and I love the way it tastes and I'm so excited, I'm thinking, okay, now how do I make sure I have this kind of water forever? And it's like, stop worrying about that. And it's because, in the past, I probably would have said, I'm just a worrywart. I'm a worrier. I'm an anxious person. And that is true, but I'm overcoming that anxiety. And what I talk through every morning is how I'm overcoming that anxiety. So when he said, just be happy in this moment, it gave me permission to let everything else go. I don't have to figure it all out. I don't have to figure it all out between now and 10 years from now. I don't have to. It's like if you're planning a trip. We're in Texas, right? So say I'm planning a trip to California and I'm going to drive it. What I do to myself is the equivalent of me deciding to plan a trip to California and then sitting there and thinking of every right and left turn I'm going to make between here and San Pablo. Sitting here and figuring out, what the speed limit is for every single highway I'm going to be on, and figuring out, which rest stops I'm going to stop at. And it's like, why are you doing that to yourself? Like, that's not important. All you have to figure out is how much fun you're going to have in San Pablo. Like, what are you going to do when you get there? Which friends are you going to meet up with? I grew up out there. That's why I'm saying that. But which friends are you going to meet when you get out there? Who are you going to call and tell that you're headed that way? Don't worry about the journey. Don't worry about the twists and the turns and the, what should I do if I get a flat tire? What should I do? And of course, you're going to plan for emergencies and you're going to pack a bag and that kind of thing. But don't plan every right and left turn between here and there. And that's what I do to myself. So I'm like, okay, now how do I make sure this and this? When in actuality, I have a higher power that's flowing through me that gives me that information as I need it. So all I have to do is worry about step 1 and step 3. I've told you guys about this. Like, I used to talk about the steps all the time. But step 1 is that you ask for what you want. Step 2 is up to God. God delivers what you want almost instantly. Instantly. As soon as you ask for it, he's like, done. Right? And step 3 is that you get yourself in a place to receive what it is that you ask for. So you worry about step 1 and step 3. Step 2 is not your business. You worry about Houston And California, and the journey in the middle is not up to you. That's up to God. I hope that made sense. So, being happy for the rest of your life just means that you care about how you feel every moment. Now, this is the tricky thing, right? Because you're like, okay, so, and this is the part I've been practicing for the last 10 days. Caring about how I feel every moment. What this means is that you decide that the way that you feel is important. And the way that you feel is a choice, believe it or not. Things may happen around you that can make you feel angry, upset, frustrated, stressed out. But when you feel yourself going in that direction, it takes practice. It really does take practice. But you have to pull yourself back in and say, I care about how I feel. I care that I'm happy in this moment. And know that, as I told somebody, you are the thermostat. Everything else is just the weather. Because if you know that in this moment, like this moment's not going to last forever. Whatever the problem is, it's not going to last forever. The hurricane could be swirling around you, but you know that, in 5 years from now, the hurricane's just going to be a memory. So don't let it affect you. I actually took a couple notes today because there were like 5 big external situations that I had to come against, that I had to realize like how to be happy in these moments. And I do want to warn y'all that I'm on call, so if I get interrupted, it's because the nurse is calling me, but if you hang in there, I'll be right back. So one of them is the news. The news and the media. Hey, Doris. The news and the media. I used to watch the news. I used to consume the news. Like, I was all about it. Like, everything. Like, come on. Y'all know. 2016, all that was happening, like, I was all into the news. And what I found was that, they're selling me something. They're selling me something. And I actually use this as a mantra, remember that they're selling something. Because you turn on the news and it's so sensationally negative. It's like the world is coming to an end. Literally, because sometimes they talk about global warming and it's like your planet is shriveling up. Your grandkids are not going to have a place to live. Why are we using plastic bottles? I mean, it's just so like horrific and terrifying that if you get sucked into that, it's very difficult to maintain your happy. So whenever I hear the news, which I've disconnected. For one thing, we don't have cable anymore. We just have like Netflix and all that. So I've pretty much disconnected. But sometimes at work, the TV will be on and I'll catch a glimpse of something. I'm like, oh my God. But that's when I have to pull myself in and say, they're selling me something. They're selling fear. They're selling lack. They're selling this mindset that things are really bad, so you better act now. They're selling a mindset of there's no hope in the world, so you better not step out of the comfort zone. We talked about the comfort zone yesterday. That place in your brain that's telling you that, where you are right now, even though it's not your most optimal state, even though you have so much more potential inside of you that you could go for, stay in your comfort zone. Don't even try. Because guess what? North Korea is about to drop a bomb on us. You know what I mean? Like that whole mentality of like, bad things are happening. Just go home and sit down. Go to work, do your job, come home and sit down and watch the news. And so I had to tell myself, they're selling me something. And then you decide, I'm not buying it. So somebody, and I don't remember even who, I consume a lot of personal development, y'all. Like, I listen to a lot of personal development. I think it was Bob Proctor, because I've been binging on Bob Proctor. Not yesterday, because yesterday I was like mind blown. I really did listen to smooth jazz at work the whole day, because I was like, I need to chill. I'm probably going to do it again today, because it was so much information that Bob Proctor gave that gave me so many mental shifts that I couldn't take in anything else. Like, I was just like, but Bob Proctor said, and this is I want to integrate these two thoughts. So I was telling you about the 3 steps: ask, and then just believe, God is going to take care of it. And then the third step is receive, which is actually harder than you think it is. Receive is the hardest part. Receive, I'm going to come back to what I was going to say before, but receiving is so hard, y'all. You would think that it's just easy, but it's not. Think about times when people give you compliments and they're like, girl, your hair looks good. And you're like, oh, no, I need to wash it. And, oh, I need a haircut. Like, it's hard to receive things. It's hard to even receive compliments from people that you know. Think about when God is trying to give you, and I know I'm using God a lot today, but when I say God, the universe, love, all these things, it's all the same idea for me. It's just if you use the word God, insert the word God. If you don't use the word God, insert whatever word you use. But it's trying to give you things that you feel like you don't deserve. And when you are receiving things that you don't feel like you deserve, you repel them away. It's kind of how like you have to practice taking a compliment. You have to practice saying thank you, period. When somebody says, that's a nice dress, thank you. Instead of being like, this old thing, oh, I got this from TJ Maxx in 1950. It's just like, no, just say thank you and leave it at that. It's very hard to do. So the same is when you're receiving something from that you've asked for, it's hard to receive it. It's really easy to repel it and be like, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve that. And then you don't get it, you just block it. So step one, where you ask for something, your asking is very strong when there's emotion connected to it. So and usually asking comes from living your life and having bad things happen to you, and it's just like horrible situations, like you're in a bad relationship. And so subconsciously, you're asking for a better relationship. And there's so much emotion connected to it that your asking is very strong. And so God's listening is very strong, because I told you that the universe and God, like your emotion is the communication piece to God. Like emotion is. So that emotion is what gets his attention, not your words, not your incessant praying, but the emotion behind it. So if you're listening to the news, something comes on the news and you're watching it and it's some fear mongering, like, breaking news, the world is coming to an end in 52 minutes. And you're like deciding in that moment, like, number one, what are they selling me? Number two, am I buying it? And what Bob Proctor would say was, I choose not to get emotionally involved in this story. Because the moment you get emotionally involved in the story, you accept that into yourself, and that messes up your happiness. It just kills your vibe. Like, that's a cliche, but that's really what it's doing. Your vibration, your vibe is killing your vibration. That happy vibration that you have that's going to keep the momentum going of your life getting better and better and better. When you let that in, you kill it. You just kill it. So you can watch the news if you're strong enough to say, I see what you're saying. I know what you're selling. I'm not buying, and I'm not getting emotionally involved. But the thing is, the way they're so good at their jobs, they're so good at selling this stuff to you. They can sell it with that emotional twist that yanks on your heartstrings. You see the things about the migrant children and the detainees and the kids and all this stuff, and it's just like, it's heartbreaking. And it's intentional. Now, I'm not saying don't be aware of what's going on. I'm not saying don't protest things that are bad. Don't fight for justice. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that be careful with your own vibration. Don't get yourself caught up in something that you can't handle. I know that I can't handle certain things, so I don't get myself caught up in them. If I know that I can help, if I can help in some way, then I'm all in. But if I know it's going to bring me down, and I can't save myself, then I can't, that's not helping. Abraham Hicks says something, this is one of the very first concepts that really got to me, and it was, you cannot get sick enough to help someone who's sick. You cannot get poor enough to help someone who's poor. Meaning, you can't get down there in there with them and think that you're going to save someone. It's like someone is starting to drown and they're thrashing all around. You jump in to save them. Now they're knocking you in the head and you're going down too. Like both of you guys are drowning now. Right? Don't jump in. If you can't swim, don't jump in. protect your vibration. And sometimes protecting your vibration means stepping away from the situation and realizing that the best way that you can help is to send happy vibes into the world. And that actually does help. You send good vibes into the world, and then the help that is needed, the help that can actually help, because you sitting at home crying about the news is not helping anyone. Now you got what's wrong with them and something's wrong with you, so that's adding more discontent to the world. So don't do that. Another way to be happy, and I have this written down, negative thoughts. So there is, Paul says in the Bible to focus only on good things. And this is really, it's a really helpful concept. So you, it's hard to do. It takes a lot of practice. I should say that. It takes a lot of effort. So you focus only on positive thoughts and good thoughts. It takes a while. If you guys go back and watch some of the first travel chat videos, before I even called it travel chat, I think I was doing it on Instagram when I was first uploading. Some of those first videos that I made are so negative. Like they seem positive, but to me, I can see the negative in them because I was working through things and I had to work out all the junk, all the gunk, all the darkness. I had to get all that out before I could really understand what was going on. And this is totally normal. I actually started to delete those videos, and I thought, no, that defeats the purpose. Like, I need to have those up there because that was part of the journey, a very important part of the journey. I heard this one guy talk about journaling, and he uses journaling very effectively. And I'm going to incorporate some of the things that he does in my next project, which will be the Imagine Your Life journal. But his journaling process, he says when he started out, it was a lot of venting, what we would call venting. It was just a lot of like anger and what's going wrong with his life and why doesn't he have this and why isn't he that, and he was just going on and on and on. And then once all that junk was out, he was able to make progress and make things make sense and be positive and push his life forward. So I want you to know, if you're just starting out on this, it's okay. You got to get all that negative stuff out. You got to clear all that, because you've been carrying around that junk for like 20 years. You've been carrying around all that junk. It's not going to go away overnight. Get all that out. Give yourself permission to get all that out, and then you'll see the light. You know what I mean? You get through all the darkness, and then you'll see the light, and it's totally worth it. But if you don't even try, you're always going to be in that darkness, and you're never going to be able to break through it. So the negative thoughts are, it takes a lot of practice to resist them. And to piggyback on this, negative people too, because you're going to notice that once you start to try to be positive, you'll be in this little bubble of positivity. And then you'll go around somebody that's like clearly negative, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, like, don't get sucked in, you know, and it's really hard. And you may have to find ways to get away from the situation or to change the subject before you get yourself sucked in. It's tough, you know, when you hear, you know, that, or you read that it's a spiritual warfare. It's not a flesh and blood warfare. It's a spiritual warfare. There are forces trying to dominate your mind and trying to keep you stuck and trying to keep you, you know, from enlightenment. But once you make a decision, you'll have bad days. Like I went through this, you know. I go around, there's somebody negative, next thing I know I'm gossiping and I'm going, oh girl, what happened? And it's like I get myself out of that, and I'm like, oh, my stomach hurts. I'm just like, oh, that didn't feel good at all. Like, I just feel like junked up again. Okay, let me try again. The next time I go around that same person, I try a little harder. I may last 2 minutes longer, because it's hard. It's difficult to break habits. But the key is not to be perfect each time. The key is to keep trying. Just to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. That's all you can do. Other ways to be happy. So I said the news, negative people, negative thoughts, fear. Fear is a tough one. Okay, I'm hitting the camera. Okay. So when you're in this in this place where you want to take happiness moment by moment, and you want to say, I'm going to be happy for the next 10 years, and I'm going to do it by being happy moment by moment by moment, and then something scary happens. So, and it can be underlying scary. It can just be a trigger, something that happens that reminds you of something else. It's a safety mechanism. I told you guys about that before. It's a safety mechanism that your brain is saying, this is similar to something that happened before that puts you under a threat. So we feel threatened right now. And that's why, you start getting the sweat, the hot flash and the racing pulse and all the adrenaline kind of rush and all the scary feelings. It's a protective mechanism. And I have a few ways of dealing with fear. So it used to be, and it still kind of is. So fear is a compass for me. And like even this morning, I have this recurring thought. It's just this narrative that pops into my head. We all have these little thoughts that pop into our head. But I can tell the thought that comes to my head that's my intuition versus the thought that comes to my head that's like that scared inner child that's trying to keep me from being bold. Because when the scared inner child tells me something, I feel uncomfortable. I feel nervous and anxious about it. Hey, Jairus. But if my intuition tells me something, I feel excited and I feel encouraged. I feel like ready to do it. Like, do it now. Write it down. Do it now, But I keep getting this thought, and it's actually about YouTube. It's about YouTube. Because I'm doing this more regularly now. In the month of August, I'm focusing on YouTube, and I'm putting my videos, these videos that we do on Facebook Live, I put them on YouTube. And so now, like somebody called me yesterday and was like, hey, I was listening and I went to YouTube and I watched a bunch more videos. And so I'm thinking, and she's like, but I can't find a budget diary. Now, I know that I need to have my descriptions written out, because on YouTube, it's like a placeholder. I'm like, just put the videos up there, just put them up there. But I'm at the point now where I've learned how to put the videos up there. I'm efficient at it. I need to make my descriptions with all the information on how you can find me, how you can find my Etsy store, how you can find the budget diary, how you can find Michelle, how you can find anything that you need. But I've been resisting putting those up there. Now, honestly, it would take me 5 minutes. It would literally take me 5 minutes. I already have all the information. Like, I know where to find me, right? But I'm resisting putting it up there, and it's because of fear. And so I realized that this morning, because the voice in my head said, don't put that up there. Are you kidding? If you put that up there, people will be able to find you, right? Like, duh, that's the purpose. But I realized that that's the inner part of me that's trying to protect me from exposure. It's like, do you really want people to find you? Because are you ready yet for people to, do you even know how to coach people? Like, are you going to really do this for real? Or I thought you were just, aren't you just, and it's that whole, like, who are you identity thing? Like, who are you? And what are you doing? And why are you stepping outside your comfort zone? So when I heard that again this morning, because it's been going on like for weeks and weeks, and I know that when that happens, that's a compass. So if I hear, or if I get this feeling over and over again of like, don't do that, we're scared to do that, that means I need to do that right now. Because that means that's the next step that I need to go. That's the direction I need to move in. It's a compass for me. It's like a map, and it's like, follow the fear. Wherever the fear is telling you not to go, go there. And it's not as scary as it feels. So I know that feeling. I can discern the two feelings. And so this morning I was like, oh, okay, I get it. That's my next logical step. Because I'm constantly going, what's my next step? Where do I go from here? I don't know. I'm confused. There's so many things I can do. What do I do next? And now I know that's what I need to do now. So take fear as a tool. Fear shouldn't be the thing that stops you from doing anything. Now, you kind of have to be aligned, because I'm not saying I'm scared to jump off a building. Let me go jump off a building. No, don't do that. That's crazy. But have a goal, write them down. I really believe you got to write them down. I don't know. People who say them out loud, that's fine. Maybe you're like 1% of the magical people in the world. But write them down. It makes them so much more important. If you write it down and I just had a thought, and it's an interesting thought, but I'm not going to tell you about it. If you write it down You know what? I am going to tell you about it. All right. Because this is going to hold me accountable. I have a sheet, and it is a goal breakdown sheet. So you take a big goal, you break it down into 3 medium-sized goals, and you break those down into action items. And I was going to say, I will give you guys that goal sheet so that you can write down your goal and break it down into action items, and you can start knocking down those things you're afraid of. And I was like, don't say that, because that means that you're going to have to link that sheet to your YouTube channel, and you're going to have to make this elaborate, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But that's what I need to do. So it's called, what is it called? I forgot what I called it. It's in my planner. But it's just one page of this planner that I made last year that I haven't even put up for sale. I just use it myself, which seems very selfish. But I'm going to put that sheet in, I'll link it as like a digital download on YouTube. Lord, who's saying this? Am I saying this out loud? Yes, I'm going to do this. And if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, and you want to write down your goals, you can have the sheet completely for free, and I'll set that up at some point today somehow. Yes, I'll do that. It's easy. It'll take me 5 minutes. I'm just like afraid to do it. See what I'm saying? So I know it's the thing I need to do. See, I popped in my head. That's how your intuition works. So you'll be going along and you'll be in flow, and then this idea, like I'm talking and ideas are popping in my head. It popped in my head and I was like, shut up. Stop it. That's work. But that's how it works. So you get into alignment, and then God will tell you, give them the sheet. They're listening to you. They want to write down their goals. Give them the sheet. No, but it's too much. Give them the dang on sheet, girl. So I'm going to link it and I'll give it to you. Because what you need to know is once you write down your goals, that's when all the junk comes up. That's when the fear will come up, and you'll start writing down the action items that go with it, because everything that you feel like is a big goal is just a collection of steps. And it may take you a year to do all the steps, but once you do all those steps, the big goal, you're done. You've done it, right? It's all done. So fear is an illusion. Fear is an illusion, so use it to your advantage. Use it as your compass. Use it as the thing that tells you this is where you're going next. Okay, I'm scared to do that. Let me go for it. Because on the other side of it, there is a party for you. There's a party on the other side of fear. As soon as you break through it, there's this amazing feeling of like invincibility. Like, I can't believe I did that. I said I was going to do it. I wrote it down. And I freaking did it. I am a boss. That's how I want everybody to feel. If you're watching this video, I want you to be like, I am a boss. Okay? And then the future and anxiety. So I had this epiphany this morning about, so this has been going on for a while, but this morning it came up again. The future and anxiety. I had to tap on this yesterday. Y'all, let me tell you what triggered me, because it's actually kind of funny. I got an email yesterday from me and my big idea, which is the company of Happy Planner. And it was just a promotional email, and they were like, hey, we're coming out with this, what is it called? Whatever it's called. It's a box that comes with like some washi tape and some puffy stickers and a planner and like some sticker books and stuff like that, which I don't use all of that stuff, but I love my Happy Planner. And the thing is like $50, right? It's like a whole kit of stuff they're going to mail to you if you buy it. And so they had a video linked to it, similar to, the video I have for the budget diary where I'm just flipping through the pages. They have that, but it's not as good as my video because they have music playing, but it's like in fast motion. So you can barely even see, like I had to watch it like 4 times to even see all the stuff, because she's just like, here it is, and there it is, and there it is. And so you're just like, but I watched the video, and then I realized Happy Planner has a YouTube station. So I went on Happy Planner's YouTube station, and I'm watching Happy Planner videos. Y'all, I went into like full on stress out mode, because I am at the beginning. Like, I've just started using Happy Planner, and I've been using a planner for my entire life, but it's been a homemade planner. So now I'm discovering, and y'all have probably experienced this too, where you're discovering it, like these planner people are serious. Like, their stuff is laid out with stickers and all kind of fancy doodle art and all this, and I got overwhelmed. I watched 2 videos of them showing you how to lay it out, and I don't think I'm interested in that. I was like, that seems like a lot of work. Like, because they're like, here's how you lay out your week. And there's like 15 stickers on it and all this stuff. And I'm like, by the time I do all that, like, it's time for me to go do something else. Like, I need to write down what I actually need to get done. I don't need to be decorating this thing, making the layout. And that may change later. I may watch this in a year and be like, girl, you're all about your layout. But right now, that's not me. Like, that looked like a lot of work. So I got overwhelmed. And I started like feeling a little anxious. And I was like, oh my gosh, like these planner people are like a lot. And I'm at the beginning of my planner, my like official like planner journey. But I know that's going to be a big part of my future. So I actually went to Brad Yates tapping. I told you guys about him before. And I tapped on it. I tapped on the idea that, and if you haven't seen tapping yet, it just seems so weird. And it is weird, but it works. So with your tapping, you basically use 2 fingers and you tap on these meridian lines, which are like energy flow zones, which connect back that fight or flight or freeze feeling that you get when you feel stressed about something. It's like a trigger of something that's like a protective mechanism. But when you tap on it, you actually send a calming signal to the part of your brain that tells you to like be triggered. It calms it down. So you're tapping in all these like 6 places on your body. And I was in my car driving, I was just tapping on them. And you just tap on these places until you relax, but you tap while you're saying stuff to yourself. So you're working it out. So the first round of tapping, I'm saying, even though I feel like I'm behind, even though I feel overwhelmed by all this planner stuff, I deeply love and accept myself. And so I tapped through the fact that I was feeling like there was so much to learn. Like I was overwhelmed by everything that, these people have been doing this for years and years, and I'm just getting into it. And I have this planner for budgeting that I couldn't find what I needed to make a fun budget for myself. So I just made it, and it worked for me. And so then I said, maybe somebody else wants this too. So I learned how to make it pretty enough to sell it. And so I've been selling it, and Diane loves it. She tells me all the time. And it worked for me, and it's working for her, and it's working for other people. And so I feel like I'm going to do this. Like I'm going to make more of these planners that I've been using. I'm going to make them more available to people, and I'm like, Oprah's going to call me, and, it's all this stuff. Like Happy Planner's going to ask me to design a planner for their next, whatever. But I got overwhelmed with that, because even though I know that that's going to happen, I feel like I'm at the beginning of it, right? Like I'm at the starting line. It's kind of like if you've ever been a sprinter and you're waiting for the starting pistol to go off, and you're so anxious like that. Like that's how I was feeling. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then once I get going, I'm gonna be like, pew! But in the first moment when you're like, I'm just starting, like I'm not there yet. That's how I was feeling. So I tapped on it until I felt more calm. But here's the key to it. The key is that when you're anxious about the future, you got to realize that all you have is now. You have to choose your emotion in this moment. Even if you have to use other tools like that, like Brad Yates, like meditation, like visualization, even if you have to use some other tool to keep yourself remembering that it's this moment that counts. Because sometimes our physiology will get away from us. Like I can't say like, oh, you're feeling anxious, oh, you're having a panic attack, okay, well, just be happy. That doesn't work, because the momentum of the anxiety is out of control. It's like you pushed a boulder down a hill. You're not going to get in front of it and be like, stop. No, it's going to roll right over you. So once that momentum is going with anxiety, it's hard to stop it and say, just be happy in this moment. So you have to have a tool, something that's going to break that cycle. And tapping, look it up, because tapping is the one thing I found that breaks that cycle for me just like that. Like I don't have to worry about it spinning out of control. So you find some reason to stop yourself and realize that, okay, I had this moment. Let me just be happy in this moment. And what I was saying before about I'm worried about, so if I'm worried about Happy Planner calling me in 5 years, why am I worried about that now when I can't control that? So this goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning. This is what I do. This is my pattern. I know this about myself. that I start now and I'm like, you know what? I made a kick-ass planner this year that I love. And oh my gosh, what about Happy Planner in 5 years? And it's like, dude, just worry about selling the freaking budget diary now. Like, worry about coaching people through it right now. Worry about telling people how to use it right now. Worry about telling people how to get it right now. The lady who called me on the phone yesterday was like, I don't know where the website is. I can't figure out how to get it. Why am I making it so hard for her to get it? Link it to the YouTube video. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, is that just worry about right now. I am giving you permission to worry about right now and to not worry about the future, because the future, you are at point A and the future is at point B. The day that Oprah calls is point B. The future is in the future. The path in between is not my business, right? Every left turn, every right turn between now and Oprah calling me is not my business. Like, that's God's twists and turns. That's just me having to follow the impulse as it comes. Like the impulse I just got to send you guys this sheet. I may send you this sheet. I may link it where you can download it. You may get it, start using it. Your dreams start coming true. You tell somebody else, who tells somebody else, who tells somebody else, who tells Oprah. And Oprah may call me. But it all started with me saying, I'll be obedient to this download that I just got in my head to send you the sheet. That's how it works. So nobody knows what that will be. I don't know all the people in between me and Oprah. I don't know that. How could I know that? But I know that I got an idea to send you a sheet. And if I do that, that'll lead to something else, lead to something else. So that is the whole way that you can control. If you want to use the word control, I don't like the word control. It has some resistance in it for me. But that you can ensure, how about that? That you can ensure that you have a happy life is by breaking it down. A happy year is a happy month. A happy month is a happy week. A happy week is a happy day. A happy day is a happy hour. A happy hour is a happy minute. And a happy minute is a happy moment after moments after moments after moment after moment. And that's all you control is your now. Because your now is your now. And that now that was just then, that's already gone. You've already lost that. So now you just have now. And now that's even gone. So now you just have now. So when you think about it that way, the future is all in your imagination. The past is completely your imagination. It's what you thought was going on. So all you have is how you feel right now. And if you care about how you feel right this minute, you have to care about how you feel. I want to be happy right this minute. Somebody's giving you bad news. You can say, okay, I care about how I feel right this minute. I am not going to be emotionally invested in this news. It's okay to be like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. Wow, is that what happened? Oh no, and to feel that. But don't get emotionally invested in things that are not important. Now, if somebody dies that you cared about and loved and all this, feel your feelings. One common misconception people have about law of attraction is that if they feel their feelings, oh Lord, that's going to attract more bad things. No. Feel your feelings. Don't be afraid to feel your feelings. And that's what I love about tapping. Is before I was tapping, with law of attraction, is like something bad is happening, turn the other way. But with tapping, it's like if something bad is happening, you get a negative emotion, go deeper into it. Figure out what it is that's bothering you. And then you tap. And when you watch Brad Yates tapping, you'll see like you go all the way through it. And it was like, even though I feel like I'm behind, I love and accept myself, even though I feel like people know so much that I don't know. I know that I'm learning it. Even though I feel like there's so much to learn, I know that all I have to do is take it step by step. I mean, once you do this, it's like self-soothing. It's kind of like talking to a good friend who knows so much about you that they know exactly what you're feeling. They can talk you through it. And it's magic, y'all. It really is. Okay, so I am about to go into this meeting. And I'm still working on the sleep issue. Last night it was bedtime and nobody had eaten dinner and things were still cooking on the stove. I mean, it was a hot mess. So we went to bed at like 10:30 and I got up at 4:45 or something like that. I woke up on my own, so that's a good thing. So I'm still running late. It's just so annoying, but I know that it'll get better. So I know that one day it'll be a memory. I'll be like, hey, remember when I used to be late all the time? Well, now I'm always early because I am just that girl. Yep. Magic, right? And it's not magic, which is why I make these videos, so you can see that when you see somebody who has it all together, it's not magic. Like, there's always other stuff going on, and you just have to realize that we're all dealing with something, and just try to make your life better. Don't stay the same. Don't hang out with people who are interested in staying the same all the time. Try to make it better. Do something better. Be better, do better, have more. Doesn't mean you have to quit your job or move to Jacksonville. You just have to commit to being better and doing better and having more. All right, adios. Have a wonderful Thursday. If today is Thursday, sometimes